Grab a cup. Let's talk for a few minutes. I wanted to save this specific conversation for now because it's something that I've struggled with in the past, probably more than anything else we've talked about. I want to take you into a moment that you've probably lived, maybe even this morning. You're staring at your phone, you've got a message typed out, but you haven't actually hit send yet. You felt a nudge, you knew exactly what you wanted to say to the person. Maybe it was an apology, maybe it was a word of encouragement. Perhaps it was a simple, hey, I'm thinking about you. You even believed for a second that it might actually matter to them. But then the logic loop started. What if this is awkward? What if they don't respond? What if I wait until the timing feels a little more natural? So you close the app and you tell yourself, I'll do it later. And here's the thing, nothing in that moment felt like rebellion. In fact, it felt responsible. It felt mature. It felt safe. But there's an uncomfortable truth that most of us never say out loud. Most people do not miss opportunities to do good because they are selfish. They miss them because they hesitate. And today I want to anchor us in a truth that can quietly but permanently change the way we do life. There's a proverb that says, do not withhold good from those who deserve it when it is within your power to act. Impact doesn't begin with perfect timing or a massive platform. In fact, it begins the moment that our intention turns into movement. If you're the type of person who knows you're more than capable of more generosity, more courage, more obedience, but you're still waiting for someday, this conversation's for you. Most of the good we withhold isn't loud. We aren't actively out here trying to be bad people. The withholding is subtle. It's the message you didn't send. It's the encouragement you held back because you didn't want to interrupt. It's the gift you didn't give because you were afraid you might need the margin later. But here's what we rarely sit with. Withholding good doesn't just delay a blessing for someone else. It reshapes who you're becoming. Every time you ignore a nudge to help, to speak, to show up, something inside of you begins to shrink. And in fact, you're training your spirit to be less responsive. You're becoming less sensitive to the needs around you. And it's not because you're a bad person. You're a good person. But is it possible that you're training yourself in the art of hesitation? I want you to think back over the last 48 hours. How many moments passed where you knew exactly what you should do, and yet you talked yourself out of it? What's the reason you gave? You see, later is a trust issue. It's not a timing issue. And we love the word because it feels wise. It feels like we're being diligent. But if we're real, later is usually just fear wearing a reasonable mask. We say, when I'm more stable, when I have more money, when I feel more confident. But later is rarely about the calendar. It's about trust. Do you trust what you give won't leave you empty? Do you trust that obedience won't cost you more than you can afford? If we know the good we ought to do and we don't do it, it's not neutral. I heard it said that delayed obedience is still disobedience. And the tragedy isn't just that you waited. The tragedy is that someone needed what you carried right then. You see, it's often that our later could have been a lifeline, but we were too busy waiting for the timing to feel safe. The more I live, the more I'm finding out that one of the biggest lies we tell ourselves is that we are under-resourced. We think impact requires a big bank account and 100,000 followers. But most of the time, the good someone needs isn't massive. It's human. It's a phone call. It's a recommendation. It's dropping them food when you know they're overwhelmed. It's finally saying, hey, I see you, and I believe in what you're doing. A candle doesn't flood a stadium with light, but it's more than enough to keep the person next to you from stumbling in the dark. And I would also offer you this perspective. If it is within our power, it is often within our responsibility as well. And it's not about saving the whole world, it's about walking in alignment. Impactful people don't wait for more before they move. In fact, they move with what they have because they understand that they're stewards and not owners. I've lived this. Years ago, I felt a strong urging to send a message of encouragement to someone I barely knew. Honestly, it felt weird. I was like, man, this is gonna be so out of place. They probably don't even know who I am. And I almost deleted it 3 times. Finally just hit send. It felt small and it felt unnecessary. Later, I ran into the person and they told me that the exact moment they received that message, they felt like quitting. They were finished mentally, felt completely invisible. And because of that one awkward text, they stayed in the game. I didn't plan that ripple effect. I didn't orchestrate that. I just didn't withhold it. And the thing is, you will never fully see the ripple effect of your obedience. And that's the design. Because impact isn't about control, impact is about faithfulness. And here's something that we don't talk about enough. Every time you act on a nudge, you're reinforcing who you believe that you are. When you act, you become someone who shows up, someone who trusts provision, someone who lives outward. But every time you hesitate, you're training a different identity. You're training yourself to be a self-protector. You're training yourself to be an overthinker. And over time, that becomes the default mode. You don't become generous by feeling generous. You become generous by practicing generosity. Action sharpens our sensitivity. And the more we respond, the more clearly we hear the next nudge. This video isn't pressure, and it's definitely not guilt, because this message isn't for you, it's for us. But let this be a reminder. If you can help, help today. If you can speak, speak today. If you can give, give today. Because the good that you're withholding might be the very thing that you've been praying God would do through you. And maybe, just maybe, the breakthrough you're waiting for in your own life is actually hanging out on the other side of the obedience that you've been postponing. Ask yourself, what good is within my power right now? Then act on it right now. Before fear talks you out of it, before logic delays you, before comfort cancels it. You don't need more time. You're not under-resourced. You certainly don't need more permission. You need movement. Impact doesn't start when everything's perfect. Impact starts when our intention becomes our action. So don't withhold the good. Don't ignore the nudge. Don't silence the obedience. The world doesn't need more people that mean well. It needs more people that respond well. If you enjoyed that video, throw in the comments, I'm done withholding good. And always remember that growth is a journey. It's not a destination. I'm in it with you. And I'll see you on the next one.